Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hello. Is my mic on? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Hi, good morning, everybody. I was just chatting with some of you in the chat room. For those of you who watch these videos later, you may be wondering who I am talking to. Well, I'm talking to the students that watch these videos live. These are live videos. So if you can find a time to join us on these live videos, then you can chat as well. Can you see me now? Can you see me now? Hopefully. I can see me. Yeah, okay, good. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. A lot of familiar faces. Good to see some familiar faces like Selma and Rosa and Mr. Singh and Ch. And good morning to you, Paolo. And Chavez, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Benjamin, good morning, guys. It's good to have you here already. Amy, good morning. Maybe in the future, we were just talking about, oh, Zach's here too. Good morning, Zach. Oh, we have a new premium subscriber. You know, mentioning premium subscriptions, I just had my first homework assignments handed in to me by a student. So I'm going to correct those today, and I will give another homework lesson today. So yeah, for those of you who subscribe as a premium subscriber, there is homework, and I will be grading it. And I look forward to looking at your work. So yeah, please send it in to me. It's exciting. It's like a class now. It's like a real class. It's always been like a real class. Who am I kidding? And we were just talking in here about writing. Milena, I just explained in the chat room, I don't have any coffee this morning. So I'm going to try to do this without coffee. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. So what else? What else were we talking about? We were talking about writing, and I do write short fiction. I write short stories, and sometimes I seek publication on those. Haven't had one published yet, but I know it's a hard process to begin with. But you know, I just enjoy it. It's something I enjoy doing, which is good for me. It's helped me practice writing a lot. So hopefully you will find a habit that helps you hone your skills, that helps you improve your skills. As you can see, Zach has shared the link to the live class, and I'm going to show that in the background behind me. As usual, you know how we begin these. We have the lesson in the background, and I'll make that bigger, of course. So, if you would like to know more about the premium subscriptions, of course you can email Zach, or you can just look on your own at the page. Oh, I should share the links to the class notes. Good morning, Salman. Good morning, Alai. Good morning, Goran. So I shared the links to the class notes, and I'll be building those class notes as we go along with the lesson. But first, let's look at the live classes, the premium subscription in the live classes. So you will come here, of course, and watch the videos, and you will have access to all the lessons on Smrt. I will grade those assignments when you hand those in and get them back to you, and maybe make some comments about what should change or what can improve. There will be quizzes and exams and an official Smrt English certification when you are done. So yeah, more work. So if you're somebody who likes more work, you should sign up for these premium classes. We have a number of them. If you find that these videos here that I do are a little too difficult, maybe you want to try a lower level. We have pre-intermediate with Nicole, intermediate with Mark, Upper intermediate, that's my level, and then we have level above mine. So if you find these a little too easy, you might want to consider English for academic purposes with Josh. So take a look at that page. It's shared in the class notes with you. So, thank you. Yes, somebody should be taking attendance, right? When you sign up to my class, I should be able to see you in my roster. So, and it kind of automatically takes attendance, which is nice. And then, what else? Oh yeah, if you want to know more about the brick and mortar school where I work, there's a link for that as well to the Spokane College of English Language. Please join us if you haven't yet on Facebook and do a search for Learn English on Facebook. And then, of course, you can find me as well on Facebook. My name's Neal Holgarth, if you're just joining us for the first time. If not, you know who I am. You've heard my name many, many times before. And let's start with some vocabulary because I used a couple vocabulary already. Hone, and I used it in a phrase where I said hone, and we'll say one's skills, meaning, for example, hone my skills or hone your skills. It simply means make a skill better or sharper. Hone kind of means sharp, like you would hone a blade, like a knife, and you would sharpen it against maybe like a whetstone. So make a skill better, you hone your skills. And I mentioned that writing hones my skills. Writing short fiction hones my writing skills. And then I also said brick and mortar. Now these are building materials, but if I say this, I mean a physical location. A physical, what can we say? Maybe shop. A brick and mortar. And often it goes with the word store, a brick and mortar store. So when I say the brick and mortar school where I work, I mean the actual physical location, the building. Right now we're in a virtual classroom. That is not brick and mortar. So there's a couple vocabulary for you at the beginning. Yes, good, Rosa, of course. Improve your skills. Hone your skills. Hone my skills. Hone her skills. Hone his skills. And we are going to be talking about modals again today. Modals, you're wondering, modals again? Again? Yes, modals again. This time we're going to be talking about should and could used with the perfect infinitive. But of course, let's review. Hey, good morning, Ralph. Thanks for joining us. And I'll share the class notes one more time. You can open that link, and I'll be building these notes as we go along. I'll be adding to them. First I'll explain, then I'll add to the notes. No, not Jaren this morning. Today we're going to be talking about modals. So the past couple of weeks I've been talking about them, and we've been talking about different uses of modals. Good. CH exclamation mark. That's a good example. Reading every day hones my comprehension skills. I like that sentence. I will also add it as an example. Reading every day hones my comprehension skills. It definitely will. It definitely should. Okay, the 10 modals. Oh yeah, thank you, Zach. By the way, if you see a lesson in here in one of these live classrooms and you're really wanting to study or know more about something else, of course you can look at all of our YouTube videos, all of our previous YouTube videos, and you can find the lesson that you're looking for. Okay, 10 modals. Here we go. One more time. And by now, for those of you who have been watching these, you should be able to follow along and repeat after me as I go through this. Can, and of course we have another phrase that works well as a modal, be able to, and be is in quotation marks because I mean is able to, are able to, no, not am able to. Oh yeah, I am able to, yeah, am able to, was able to. But we have modal can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, and another one like must is have to, and of course these are for a strong obligation, advice, or order, so these are strong modal words, and then ought to, which is a little more mild. It's a mild obligation or advice. And then I've kept some of our past examples that we came up with in the previous lessons. We have permission, such as can I join the meeting? Could I borrow your pen? We have strong obligation. I must do my homework. He can't visit right now. He has to do his homework. I ought to do my homework. Must you tap your pencil while you study? And if you begin a question with must, you're showing annoyance. It may rain this afternoon. The sky's getting darker. And of course, that's possibility. So I think the reason why I wanted to cover modals a lot is because they're used in a lot of different situations. And depending on how you use them, it will change the meaning. So there are many, many meanings that are attached to modals. And I think if you're learning English, it may be difficult to understand sometimes how a modal is being used in a sentence or how a speaker is meaning to use a modal. So it's important to study them. Okay, let's look at the rules. And again, for those of you who've been watching these videos, you probably know these rules very, very well. They don't change forms like other verbs. So if you have a normal verb like go, it can become goes with he, she, it. He goes, she goes, it goes. In the past, it can become went. The past participle, it can be gone. However, modals don't change like that. They don't change like verbs like look. That becomes looks, or past tense, looked, or past participle, looked. So for example, I might eat ice cream after dinner. Eat is going to be verb 1, an unchanged verb. No S, no ED, no ate. No change to it because we have a modal. Same here. I shouldn't eat ice cream after dinner. And notice the negative, the not, is attached to the modal. The negative goes on the modal. I shouldn't eat ice cream after dinner. And that's a contraction, obviously, with the apostrophe, so that it's should not, but contracted to shouldn't. Again, no change to the word eat. So for question forms, there is no do, does in the questions forms. So I'll actually write a question here. Can he do that? Can he do that? Can he, I'm trying to avoid do though. Can he juggle a chainsaw and can he juggle a chainsaw and a badger at the same time? Does he have the ability to do that? So here, when we start with a question and we have a modal, we don't need the word do or does. We don't need that auxiliary verb. The auxiliary verb goes away. We just need the modal, and we can start with the modal. And remember to invert, and it's called inversion when you put the subject after another word. You invert the modal and the subject for the question. So, can he juggle? No, do, or does. There is no don't or doesn't in the negative forms. The modal will get the negative. He shouldn't do that. You shouldn't write on walls. You should not or shouldn't eat ice cream at night. You shouldn't eat ice cream after dinner. I may not eat ice cream after dinner. This one is kind of a negative possibility. I may not. Or even this could be read as permission as well. I may not eat ice cream after dinner. My parents forbid me. Or I may not eat ice cream after dinner. I might not. I still haven't made that choice yet. Okay, so modals don't change, but we have the modal ought to. And with ought to, because we have the word to, we're going to create an infinitive phrase, what's called an infinitive phrase. Like this, we ought to get going. So you will have an infinitive phrase there, to get. So remember the word ought and the word to, and then going. We ought to get going. Let's look at what else do we have? Oh, we usually don't have past or gerund forms. However, we have words like be able to, and that can show past, that can show future. So you can show time, you can show a different tense if you use be able to. And then if you use have to, if you use have to, you can make a gerund. You can use having. I hate having to get up early. The meaning of this, of course, is must. And the meaning of this one is can. One more. Perfect infinitive, and it's kind of what we're talking about now, and we'll be talking about it today. Some modals are used with the perfect infinitive to make past forms. You shouldn't have done that. She must have stayed home. These refer to the past, and these are guesses about the past. And we talked about that last time. Today we're going to look at perfect infinitive again, but we're going to look at a different meaning. Could and should plus the perfect infinitive. And I'm wondering if you know what this means when we use could and should with a perfect infinitive. And you may be wondering that right now. While you're wondering, there is a question. When can we use ought to in a conversation? When can we use ought to in a conversation? When do I have to use ought to in a conversation? You never have to use it. You are never obligated to use the modal ought to. It's kind of polite. Modals tend to be polite. So you could tell somebody, we ought to get going. We ought to get going. And I'll put that sentence. Because I said it, I'll write it down. We ought to, I'll include the verb there. We ought to get going. Means like I want to leave. And because it's like a mild suggestion, mild advice. Because it's mild and not strong, it's also seen as polite. So if you're at a party with your friend and it's time to go and you have to go, you might tell them, we ought to get going. Kind of a gentle push. It's a gentle push. So in conversation, if you're wondering how to use it, for polite, being polite, not being too pushy. You will not be considered too pushy if you use it. Okay, Rosa, there's a question. No, I did not get to answer this question. May be and maybe. Let's look at that. Let's look at maybe and maybe. I hear water falling outside. It may be raining. So here when we have may be, this be is helping with this continuous form, with this continuous verb form. It may be raining. Right now, it may be raining. And now let's look at that same sentence using maybe. I hear water falling outside. Maybe it's raining. Let me try to put those on the same screen behind me. Can you see the difference there? One of them, we have a modal, and then we have a continuous form. Be raining. May be raining. This one, maybe it's raining. It's kind of a guess word, and it is not attached to this here. Instead, I have is raining as my continuous form. This may be, boy, if I'd have to guess, it looks like it's being used kind of as an adverbial there at the beginning of the sentence. And both are about guesses, right? I'm not sure. So it kind of means the same thing, but this first one, this is the true modal here. Maybe together is not really a modal. You're going to have to put it somewhere else in your sentence. But both show guesses. So I hope that helps. Yeah, good. Deely, hopefully I'm saying your name right. Deely Ram. That's right. We use this for regret. Good. Could and should plus a perfect infinitive is used for regret. Yes, Sissy, if we say hone, as in honing a sword, we're getting ready to use it. So we have a question about the vocabulary as well. If you am honing my sword, I'm going to battle, I guess was said maybe 1,000 years ago. I am honing my sword, I'm going to battle. I'm making my sword sharper, I'm getting it ready to use. Of course, not many people carry swords anymore, so we use hone for our skills instead. We use that word hone for our skills. Can you say it must be raining? Yes. If you are sure, if you have certainty, and let's put that sentence down too. If you have certainty, you can say it must be raining. And of course, must here is going to show certainty. You feel sure. You feel very sure it is raining. Vivek, you've barely missed anything. We've only barely scraped the surface of this lesson. Okay, we scraped the surface. One more vocabulary, and then honestly, I'll begin the lesson. Scrape the surface we use only begun to explore or start, begin. We've only begun to scrape the surface of this lesson. Yes, it may be raining is continuous tense with a modal. Modal and a continuous, kind of crazy. It may be raining. Good question, Al Waleed. Okay, as promised, I'm going to start the actual lesson. Could, should, plus perfect infinitive to express regret. To express regret. Okay, here we go. Okay, as was correctly guessed, it's a common way to express regret or criticism about a past event. So remember, we're using perfect infinitive, so it will continue to be about the past. The sentence expresses the opposite of what actually happened. So this one's a little difficult. Remember, what you say is the opposite of what actually happened. You're going to refer or you're going to say something about the past, but what actually happened in the past was different. It was opposite. Why did you do that? You should have listened to me. Why did you do that? You should have listened to me. So what happened in the past is you didn't listen to me. That's what actually happened. This person did not listen. That's the fact. That's the truth. However, what you say to show regret in the present is you should have listened to me. I am starving. I should have brought a lunch. I did not bring a lunch. If I say I should have brought a lunch, of course it means I did not bring a lunch. Okay, so let's start building our class notes now. And did you notice the pattern? We have the modal. In this case, it's going to be should or could, plus have, plus verb 3, which of course is past participle. So that's our construction. It's kind of the same construction as last time. Let's look at our examples, and I'm going to grab the first 2 examples here. Let's look at these examples again. We have the modal should, then the word have, and then listened, because listen is a regular verb, so it's listen, listened, listened. So this is verb 3. And then the next one, I am starving. I, modal is should. Then that word have, again, should have brought a lunch. And there's our verb 3. Bring, brang, brought. So I should have brought a lunch. And the fact about the past is this person did not bring a lunch. But to show regret in the present, we're going to use this form. So it shows present regret about a past event that's already happened. Oh, and I know you guys are always so smart. You already have examples. I'd even need to ask for examples from you. So with your permission, I would like to add some of these. Oh, and look, we even grabbed the little emoticon there. Little emoji came along. I'm going to keep it. That'll be our period on this sentence. I shouldn't have eaten that. My stomach is aching. So what would be the opposite of this? What actually happened in this sentence? If the person said, and here we have the negative, I shouldn't have eaten that, what would be the actual event that happened in the past? And we have another good one here. I should have taken the Smrt class previously, but I missed some class before. And I'm actually going to make this one sentence. And here we have should have taken. Excellent. Another example. Well, you guys are fast writers. You are all very, very fast writers. I'm thinking most of you are intermediate or even advanced academic level English. I am tired. I should have slept more. Good. Should have slept. Excellent. Donnie D. Good. Good use of the vocabulary as well, Donnie D. I should have honed my skills in English earlier. It's never too late to hone your skills. Skill development never ends. Even when you get to be 70 or 80 or 90, you're still going to be working on old and new skills alike. This is something that never changes in life. You will always be working on new and old skills throughout your whole life. It's something that you cannot avoid. So it's never too late. Never have regret about working on a skill. Of course, we always wish we could have started something earlier, but if you're doing it now, you're doing it well and you're doing it right. Okay, I can't include all these sentences. So many good examples. You can read those in the chat room, but I've included a few here. And of course, back on this one, I shouldn't have eaten that means, in fact, they did eat it. They did eat it. But they shouldn't have. They know they shouldn't have. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Oh, more examples. I really should have stayed home today. I don't feel well. Meaning, I didn't stay home. He should have come to class yesterday. He missed a lot of new English. Of course, meaning he didn't come to class yesterday. Okay. We can also use this for another meaning. However, it's not always just regret. We can also use could and should plus the perfect infinitive to support our opinion or feelings. Let's look at examples of this. Wow, you should have seen his face. It was unbelievable. And of course, remember, you're still talking about the opposite of what happened, but this means you weren't with us, so you didn't see his face, but I feel as if you should have seen his face. I wish you were there to see his face. Class was fun yesterday. You should have been here. You didn't come to class, so you don't know about the fun class. I wish you had been here. My feeling is that you should have been here. It's my feeling, it's my opinion. It's not regret, though. I don't regret that you were not there. It's just I really, really wish you could have been there for that. More examples. Dinner at the restaurant was so good. You should have come with us. And of course, the opposite is true. You didn't come with us, so you didn't experience the great restaurant. So also feelings and opinions, not always just regret. Okay, so let's go back. Let's add those to our class notes. More examples to our class notes. Second meaning, of course, is feelings and opinions. So we have a couple meaning for this. We have regret, but we also have feelings and opinions. And you'll just have to listen to the speaker or read the sentence and read the context in which it is used. And then you will be able to understand what the person means. And I used this word here. I'm going to add it to the vocabulary. Context. Context is understanding meaning by looking at the larger message. It means something like that. So if I say you have to understand how a modal is used by the context it's used in, you're going to have to hear the whole message, or you're going to have to read the whole message and get your understanding from everything, not just from the single modal word that's being used, but how it's being used in a sentence. And it sounds like, so these examples you're writing sound like more examples of regret. Chavez, I shouldn't have gone to the party before the exam. That expresses regret. Paulo, I should have saved some money for my future. That sounds like regret. Is this perfect modal? Yeah, this is the modal plus the perfect infinitive. We call it the modal plus the perfect infinitive. That's what we're studying today. I don't know if we can call the term perfect modal, but it's kind of like that. It's modal used with a perfect form. Here we have, it starts with the modal, and then we have this auxiliary that's used for the perfect form, have, and then verb 3, should have seen. Milena, I like your example. I'm going to use Milena's example. Oh, good morning, Sandeep. Good morning, Sandeep. We're about a half hour in. We're about a half hour into our lesson. But welcome. It's never too late to join. You should have listened to this song. It is gorgeous. Should have listened. And of course, this is not really regret, right? Of course, we can play the song again and somebody can hear it again. So it's not necessarily regret. It's just a feeling or opinion. You really should have. You really should have. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit. Okay. And most of these are regrets. She did throw me out. I shouldn't have cheated on her. Vivek, that would be a regret for sure. I think cheating on somebody would definitely be a regret. And this lesson, for one more time, yeah, you can always watch this video. It will be posted on YouTube when I'm done, and you can watch the whole thing. But we're talking about modals plus the perfect infinitive, and the meanings we've talked about today are regret and feelings and opinions. Feelings and opinions. Like, you should have been here. You should have come with us. We usually use this. Kind of the difference between regret and feelings and opinions is, with feelings and opinions, it's not so big. It's not a big deal. Class was fun yesterday. You should have been here. But you're here today. And maybe the person was sick and they couldn't be there. So it's just a wish. Think of it as a wish. Yeah, like this. That's good, Chavez. Wow, you should have watched this movie. Wow, you should have watched this movie. It was awesome. Of course, you can always watch the movie again. It'll be available streaming online or on Blu-ray, or you can just go to the theater and see it again. But it's kind of like, I wish you were there with me in this moment. Okay, let's talk about could now. So we're going to talk about the modal could plus the perfect infinitive. This is used to express an unrealized past ability. Unrealized past ability. This means you had the ability to do something, but you didn't do it. You had the ability, but you didn't do it. Notice the use of but in these sentences. Look at these examples. I could have joined that class, but I decided not to. She could have chosen to see a different movie, but she wanted to see the comedy. We could have bought the car. I'll let you read this sentence. I'll pop out for a second. We could have bought the car, but we decided that we didn't need one. So again, we have the ability to do all of these things. We have the ability to do all of these things, but we didn't do it. So again, opposite of what actually happened in the past. We had the ability to do something, but we didn't do it. Okay, let's add that. Before we go further, let's add that to the class notes. I'm going to grab those example sentences. Should use the correct plural there. And of course, we're talking about could to mean the ability to do something, but it wasn't done. So you have the ability to do something, but you didn't do it. I could have joined that class. Modal could plus have plus verb 3. I could have joined that class. And then you need this but to show that a different action was taken instead. I could have joined that class, but I decided not to. She could have chosen to see a different movie, but she wanted to see the comedy. We could have bought the car, but we decided that we didn't need one. So these are all going to become compound sentences. We need that, what are those? What is and, or, but? Conjunctions. We need a conjunction, and we need that conjunction but to show that something else was done, a different action was taken. And Milena, again, Looks like I'm favoring Milena's sentences this lesson. I'm going to add her example. I could have solved some problems. I'm going to change this to a comma, but I was very busy. Saad, that's another good example sentence. Let's add that example. I could have, okay. This is good practice for using these modals. So again, start with that subject. After could, when we use modals, and here we're talking about the perfect infinitive, we're going to need the word have. Could have, and then after have, we're going to need verb 3. So we have drive, drove, driven. So we'll need that verb 3. I could have driven that car, comma, but, good use of the but there, but I, and then postponed, we're going to make this past, I postponed that to another time. Yes, I did not drive that car. I'm putting it off to the future. Okay. Okay, maybe a couple more. And then we'll go on to the next. I couldn't have joined Premium, but I decided to join to see the video. And of course, I'm always glad that you are joining me for these videos. Maybe in the future you can join the Premium classes. We will continue to offer them. So if it doesn't work out for you this month, maybe next month, of course, you can always enjoy our now expansive library of videos on YouTube. I could have gone to the movie, but I preferred to go to the restaurant. Okay, good examples. All right, some more good examples coming in. You can look at those at the chat room, but I'm going to move on now to the next thing. Could plus perfect infinitive is also used to express a past possibility that didn't happen. A past possibility that didn't happen. So remember possibility from earlier. I could have been killed. I don't know when that you would say that. Hopefully you don't have a chance to say that often. I could have been killed, maybe in traffic, maybe while you were driving. I could have kissed you when you did that for me. I could have kissed you when you did that for me. I was so happy. That's an expression we use when we're very happy with what somebody did. And it's an exaggeration. We're not really going to kiss them. We could have gotten lost pretty easily in the crowd. It was a possibility. We didn't, but it was a possibility. It was a big crowd. You could have crashed the car. Be more careful, please. So these didn't happen. These were just possible to happen. These were just possibilities to happen. And then we'll get to that last one, but let's grab these examples. So past possibility that didn't happen. I'll add a new row. So also past possibility, but remember this did not happen. Could, meaning past possibility that didn't happen. Remember that. Focus on that it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I didn't take another course action. So it's a little different than these first examples we looked at. It's a little different. I could have been killed, but of course, if you say that, you weren't killed, you're still living. And remember, could have been. I could have kissed you. I didn't, but I was so happy. I could have kissed you when you did that for me. We could have gotten lost pretty easily in the crowd. You could have crashed the car. Be more careful, please. Just past possibility. It is kind of, yes, good, Alejandro. It's a good question. It is kind of an unreal conditional. It's a conditional that did not happen. It did not happen. We are just mentioning it as if it did. And here continues my favoring of Malena's sentences. I could have, and I'm going to actually say got lost. I could have got lost in the woods. Got lost, we use together. We use that got with lost to show that we lost our way, that we don't know the direction where we are. Got lost. I could have got lost in the woods. Some people might say, I could have gotten lost. So you can use got or gotten. Jessica, I'm going to actually use your sentence as well. You could have, and I'm going to add something here. You could have been cut. Please be more careful with the knife. You could have been cut. Please be more careful with the knife. Good examples. But again, of course, didn't happen. And we're going to have one more. So, let me fix that. We're going to have one more. This last one is going to mean criticism. So let's look at the last meaning. Criticism. Criticism. It is also used to criticize people, and this is not a good thing, obviously, when we criticize people. It's kind of used in a negative way. You could have woken up 10 minutes earlier to avoid being late for class. You could have called me to tell me you were going to be late. You could have emailed me to ask if there was any homework for tomorrow. Again, criticism of somebody's action. They didn't do this action, so you're criticizing that action. Let me add these last example sentences. You could have woken up 10 minutes earlier to avoid being late for class, but you didn't. You didn't. And let's look at some more of your examples. And this is a past possibility. You could have failed the exam. You didn't, but you could have failed the exam. Yep, past possibility, Rosa. I could have traveled to Turkey last year. That almost sounds kind of like the one above where we would say the ability to do something. I could have traveled to Turkey last year, but I went to Jordan instead. I could have joined that class yesterday. Unfortunately, I was absent. Again, these are sounding a little like the one before, the past ability to do something. The difference, so Hussam, you're wondering about the difference between could and would. Let's see, let's use would in a sentence. Let's go back up and use would in a sentence. Let's look at that difference. Would, using would. How is modal would different? I would have called you, but my phone was dead. So it was kind of a passability, do something. I'm using it as passability. And it kind of shows a conditional. It's maybe more stronger conditional meaning. And what do I mean by that conditional meaning? If my phone hadn't been dead, I would have called you. If my phone hadn't been dead, I would have called you. But it was dead, so I couldn't. So would, I would say, is better for these conditionals, better for conditional sentences, better for conditional meaning. Something was out of my control. Something was out of my control. So I would have called you, but my phone was dead. If if it was in my power to do so, I would have called you, but my phone was dead. There were conditions beyond my control that made the action impossible. And would is used in different meanings. However, I guess if we're looking at the meanings we're talking about today, would is closer to the ability to do something, but you didn't do it. But in this case, something limited my ability. So limited ability. And I see you have a lot of good examples, but before I go, we have about 10 minutes left. I would like to get to some exercises. We looked at a lot of different meanings. And I'll add some of these exercise questions to the class notes, maybe the first few. So if you have access to the class notes, you can look there. If not, I'll keep them on the screen behind me. Okay, let's look at should plus perfect infinitive. And they want us to write criticisms, regrets, or supports the opinions with should and the perfect infinitive. So for example, I can't believe you didn't buy that computer when it was on sale. You really should have gotten it. Okay, so use modal should and try to change these sentences. Maybe we should do one together. Why didn't you call me if you knew you were going to be late? So this one would be something like, you should have called me if you knew you were going to be late. Should, remember modal should, remember our grammar form, plus have, plus verb 3. Okay, I'm going to leave these in the background. I'll pop out for a second, and then I'll pop back in. Look at C, D, E, and F. And I will be right back as you work on these. Good luck. Okay, there we are. Let's take a look at these. It looks like you guys were doing okay. Now there's a lot of possible answers for these. There's no one right way to put these answers. And we're talking about the modal plus a perfect infinitive. So we would say something like this for this one. I am so late. I should have left earlier. I should have taken the bus. It can be any condition where what you should have done in the past that would have prevented you from being late. I should have woken up earlier. So you're going to show regret, but it's any action you could have taken to make it so you were not late. And it's going to look something like that. And there's many, 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 many possible answers. So many possible answers. How about this one? I'm really mad at myself for getting home late last night. I got very little sleep. I should have gotten home earlier. I should have went to bed earlier. Again, but I didn't do any of these, did I? The opposite is true. I got home late and I got very little sleep. Let's look at this one. I am so stupid for not eating breakfast this morning. Now I am starving. Of course, I should have eaten breakfast this morning. That one, I think, may be one possible answer. There's only one thing you could have done to prevent starvation. She bought the car used, and it broke down a couple months after she bought it. She should have bought a new car. Or negative, she shouldn't have bought an used car. She should have bought a used car. So you can use the positive or the negative. The meaning of C, the meaning of sentence C, of letter C, Paolo, I am so late, means you had an appointment. You should have been in the classroom at 9 o'clock. However, you were so late, so you show regret by, I should have left earlier, or I should have taken the bus. I should have woken up earlier. Very funny, Hussam. Very, very funny. Okay, one last time. I'm going to share the links in the class notes. Oh, Alejandro, I see you're giving your answers in the class notes. Yes, that is possible. Okay, there's a link to the class notes one more time. I wish I could show so much of your excellent examples. However, we have run out of time once again. I should give, let me go back to the lesson. For the subscribers, this is for the subscribers, you need homework. So please finish. And of course, I'll send this in an email as well. Homework. Please finish exercise 10.2, the one we began. Please finish it. Also, more vocabulary. This time, vocabulary 4, exercise 1. And again, I'll share these with you in an email, but you can find these on the Smrt curriculum. So please do vocabulary and finish this exercise. So grammar and vocabulary again. Okay, now I can go to my goodbye screen. Okay, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for writing so much. You wrote so much I couldn't get to everything. It looks like you're writing as well. You're writing and understanding these well. Remember, there are some very subtle differences when using these modals in a sentence, when using modals with the perfect infinitive. So please review the meanings, and I will see you again next week. Have an excellent rest of your week. Have an excellent weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Is this the last lecture on modals? For right now it is. I will have a different topic next time. for right now it is. We might return because there's more to learn about modals. There's so much more. Anyway, I think we've done enough grammar for now. We did 2 weeks of grammar, and let's work on something else next time. Anyway, I enjoyed teaching you as always, and I will see you next time. And did you notice there was different exercise music this time? It was a lot funkier. We had some funky exercise music. So let me know if you like that funky exercise music, and then maybe that we'll continue using that in the future. Okay. Be well, my friends. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.